The popularity of mobile devices has opened new opportunities for Ohio companies to connect with customers. So what are the best ways to use mobile apps as a marketing tool? We get the bottom line with Rao Unnava, professor of marketing at The Ohio State University Fisher College of Business. Rao Unnava, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about helping businesses go mobile. Businesses can't afford not to go mobile. Do you agree?
That is correct, yes.
What do you do to help them?
First, we have to figure out what it is that you're trying to achieve. Mobile is a tool, and businesses have to remember that it's just a tool like everything else they have. When the internet happened, many companies said they can't afford to not have the internet. Well, that's not the answer to the question. You need to have the internet do something for you. So it's always worth first spending time on what it is that I want to achieve, who are the target audience, and then based on that, develop a mobile strategy.
There's a lot of ways to reach people. Talk about different mobile apps and devices and a company choosing the one that's right for them.
Right. There are obviously several options that companies have. Companies themselves develop some mobile applications which assist their customers in making choices. There are companies, private companies that make applications. There are individual entrepreneurs that make applications. So the field of mobile applications and just apps as they call them is too huge now. There are thousands and thousands of apps that are available. Now, for a consumer to choose which app they would like to download onto their device and let information about themselves probably be shared with other people, they have to be very selective in what they do. So they are very smart consumers who choose only those apps that they truly value. So there are two kinds of apps. There are apps that are developed by people and set out as beta applications that people can download, test them out, and then if they like it, they will buy it. There are some that are basically free because they're developed by enthusiasts who want to share their knowledge with other people. And then there are apps that companies like Apple sell to you based on the perceived need that people have expressed. So consumers, talking about it from the consumer side, are fairly smart now in figuring out which apps they would like to use and for what purpose. And apps have become so fragmented now that it doesn't matter what it is that you're looking for, you will find an app for that. I just visited a campus outside of Ohio, and the students there have developed an app that you can use to find out where the campus bus is right now, so that you don't come out of the building until you can track the bus being right outside the door. So it's just amazing.
Like you said, the users are in some cases smarter than the companies that are making the apps. What do you tell a company? What's their best strategy to really get the people they're going after?
Right. So once again, you have to think about who your consumers are. The people who are mostly using the apps in this country continue to be the younger people. The older people are slowly getting into the app market. But if you really look at the demographics of people, 50% of this country is using some app or the other right now. It's a huge number.
Most of the fight here is to get noticed. The fight to get noticed.
That's right.
Because you can be lost on in the internet in a world of apps and lose your brand recognition.
That's
true.
Right.
How do you overcome that?
Right. So the first thing to establish is the fact that you know your consumer and you're coming up with something that they value. So if I was doing business with Procter & Gamble, if there was an app that tells me how to do my laundry correctly, that's something that I might say is useful to me given the various fabrics that are out there and so on. So it's a very, not a great example to give, but the point is that you have to understand who the consumer is. The younger people especially are asking for more and more out of their phone. There is an expectation that the overall computer market will not even be there anymore after 10 years because people just use their phones as the device that will make them do everything. So given the use of telephones that conventionally we used to use only to speak to other people for almost anything that you want to do, the companies now have to figure out what it is that the consumer is looking for and can I help the consumer in some way. So if you think about Papa John's, it was one of the first companies that allowed consumers to order pizza through the mobile phone. Mm-hmm. And that's a convenience that consumers ask for. So you have to start thinking about what the consumer is in need of and provide an application.
Final thought here, you said that looking down the road, more people will be using their phones than the desktop computer.
That is
you might see an elimination of that altogether in some respect.
That's exactly what people are saying. There is some rumor out there that, well, desktops can't go away because there are people who still work on their desktops. But with devices like iPad, for example, which is a fairly large device when you think about it, people are quite comfortable using that for almost everything. Now, the younger generation, interestingly enough, is quite comfortable using a small smartphone for web browsing as well. They don't even need anything bigger than that. I guess they seem to be comfortable eyesight-wise and whatnot. So that is going to be the biggest challenge, which is why Microsoft, instead of just relying on its desktop computer system sales and so on, has now gone into developing a smartphone because they see that's where the future is.
It's fascinating where we're heading. It seems that as we move forward, things get smaller and smaller and smaller, just like what we're talking about. Rao Unnava, we appreciate your time today. Thanks.
Thank you for having me.